Hello, Steve White, Steve RC9. Well, I watched Wolverine tonight and Deadpool. I know it's Deadpool and Wolverine. I always say Wolverine and Deadpool, I don't know why. But I wanted to do a bit of a double, have a movie night, and I watched Borderlands. And you know what? It wasn't that bad. I don't know what people are on about. I don't know what all the hate is for. It's not good, but it's not bad. It's just sort of there. And I'm just sitting there waiting for the horribleness to come at me. And I'm like, it's okay. It's just, people in costumes running around being sort of action sci-fi sort of hero people. It's like, it's kind of generic, and I just don't get why people hate it so much. Now, I'm not familiar with the game. I don't know if it strays too far from the game that people who love the game would have an issue with it, but that's really not much of an issue for general audiences, since they're usually viewing the film as its own universe, like with the Marvel universe films and all, and the DC universe and all that. But Kate Blanchett does a good job. She doesn't look her age. People talk about she's too old to play this character. I don't know how old the actual character was, but she looks like she's in her 30s. Like, she doesn't look, I'm not sure what her age is, but with makeup and whatever procedures she's had done, she looks pretty good. Jamie Lee Curtis looks older than her, and she's supposed to be, so that's fine. The Claptrap character that's supposed to be the most annoying character since or more annoying than Jar Jar Binks is fine. I mean, he's a little bit annoying. There's a couple of scenes where he's like talking and you're sort of like, okay, he goes on. But I didn't find it that annoying, and he's a robot that's programmed to do that. So it sort of made sense on some level. Whereas Jar Jar, every scene he was in he was doing some sort of slapstick comedy routine, and he ruined every scene he was in. You can't escape him. Claptrap, he only has a couple of scenes where he's really talking, and you really sort of, he's the centre of the shot and the scene, and a lot of times he's just sort of in the background running around doing things. He's really not featured as much. People act like he's just talking all the way through the film and never stops. He's not really like that, and he was sort of sent there to sort of take care of the Kate Blanchett character. And spoilers, there's a little bit of a funny thing. Like, I from the beginning I was like, oh, she's the returning sort of daughter, because there's this what was the term, there's this myth that there's this hidden sort of vault, and this daughter who came from that planet will return and basically open it, and everyone will find out what's in there and blah blah blah. And it's supposed to be this girl, Tiny Tina, who was like cloned, but she was cloned from, I think, Kate Blanchett, and she's actually the this important sort of person. And I knew that right away. As soon as they referred to her having come from there and being a daughter of that planet or whatever, I'm like, oh, that's her, because she grew up there, and she grew up there and she left. And this other girl was a clone, and basically Kate Blanchett is hired as a bounty hunter to find this girl for her father, when she's actually a clone that's escaped, and this guy's cloning this woman to try and find the key, because they believe that the woman that they found the blood for was the key, and that was the Kate Blanchett character. And they keep trying to clone it, and it's not working. And she escapes, and this giant muscle man guy in a gas mask saves her. I guess they were friends in there. I don't know why. He's her protector and takes care of her, but he does. And he's quite good to look at throughout the whole film. Kevin Hart's fine. And there's only a couple of weird moments where I thought that was kind of dumb. There's a moment where Kevin Hart has to hold these wires together so the elevator can work so everyone else can escape. And then when they hit to the top and there's no way to stop, which they need to write, they blow out the top, and they transport, because apparently they think Tiny Tina can basically do that. And I'm like, well, if you can do that, why didn't you do that with him? Or now he's down there, why don't you just transport him out? And they're just like, oh, he's an army man, he'll be fine. I'm like, they just left him there. I'm like, okay. Turns out, obviously, it wasn't her. It was Kate Blanchett doing that. She doesn't have any powers, but Kate Blanchett does. Eventually, she connects the keys, and she turns into this like angel. She's got these wings of fire, and it's quite well done. And there's a big battle, and there's a ship that crashes, and it all looks pretty well. Some of the effects do look a little 90s, do look a little game. But I think that was the design. I think that was the aesthetic they were going for. I don't think it was a matter of they didn't have the budget or they didn't have the time or technology. They had a lot of time and money for reshoots. They spent $150 million on this film. They had a lot of reshoots. So I think this is the look they were going for. And I don't think it's like, well, sometimes some critics like to think they're smarter than the film, like, oh, I can see what you're doing there. It must have been a mistake, or you didn't have the money, or you just couldn't do better, when actually that was what they intended to do. That was the style they wanted, the look they wanted. And it's a lot of arrogance with a lot of reviewers who just want to feel superior, because a lot of them are just frustrated filmmakers who couldn't make films, so now they criticise film and they just get their revenge on filmmakers who actually make films and actually do it, because they can't. So I think there's a bit of that with this film. There was a bit of misogyny because they had a older leading lady playing an action hero, and you're not supposed to do that because, misogyny. So I think this film got more criticism than it deserved. It's not bad. I actually laughed a couple of times. There's one moment where Jamie Lee Curtis points to the direction they're going to go, because she's not really active. Like, you'd think she'd be the stereotypical tough chick, even though she's older and they're making a point of that. They don't. She's basically running away the whole time. She doesn't even fire a gun properly. She accidentally fires a gun when she's saying, oh, we've got to go that way up these stairs to this door, and she accidentally shoots a guy who's actually standing up there to stop them, and she's like, oh, it's like, there's just a funny little moment where she accidentally shot the guy, and, there's a few little moments like that where I kind of laughed, and that's it. It's not that bad. And like I said, I was just waiting for the horrible to arrive and for it to become so cringe that I had to turn it off, and it just didn't happen. And when I did have to stop for a minute, I'm like, oh, I want to see the end. I want to see what happened. And yeah, it just wasn't the dumpster fire that they say it is. And I don't know why there's so much hate for it. And I guess people that was just the decision, the review critics sort of community sort of made that, oh, we hate this film. And a lot of the misogynists and the chuds just said, oh yeah, we hate this film because it's got a older woman in the lead as an action star. We can't have that. So we're just going to trash this film, even though it's not that bad. So yeah, I just wanted to talk about it because I was surprised that it wasn't that bad. It's, like I said, it's not great. It's sort of there. It's just one of those silly sci-fi action movies, but I think it knows that. It's not trying to be anything more than that, and people seem to be projecting some assumptions on it and then judging it for what they think it should have been, not what it actually wanted to be. And some of that might have been because it didn't match what they did in the game, but I don't know about that because I'm not familiar with the game. That's the only real criticism I think people probably could be justified making if they're really a fan of the game and it deviated from things in the game. You criticise that. But again, it's not a game. Things that work in a game don't work in a film. So there's got to be some sort of leeway there. But I've been talking for more than 7 minutes. I usually do 5-minute reviews, but the last few videos I keep going over, and partly because I'm enjoying talking about it, and there just seems to be a lot to talk about with the last few films that I've reviewed. But I probably wouldn't watch it again. I probably wouldn't buy it. But I was fine. There's a bunch of films I've just watched on TV that I wouldn't have bought on DVD or wouldn't have expected much that I enjoyed. Some films that had bad reputations that weren't, the dumpster fires people sort of made out they were. And a lot of these people are doing these sort of reviews in bad faith just because they just want clicks and attention. And if trashing a film does it, I don't think they really care about whether they're doing the film injustice or their audience any justice. They just want the clicks and the views. And it's easier to hate and criticise something than it is to look at it and find the values in it. Because I love films, and I can usually find something worth watching. And there are a few scenes in this that the production value is really interesting. And towards the end, when they're in the vault, all the cubes and all that, I thought that looked amazing. It was very Star Trek motion picture, and I screen captured a whole bunch of that. And yeah, it just wasn't as bad as people thought. The characters were okay. I mean, Tiny Tina was like, she was a sociopath, but then she was sort of, everyone's supposed to be protecting her, but then, yeah, she wasn't, yes, I didn't really like that character, but the other ones are all fine. And I'm not sure they're all sort of protecting her and that because they thought she was the key and so forth, and she wasn't, but, so yeah, it's not perfect. There's like, a lot of these films are like that where you're sort of on the journey with these characters, and in real life you wouldn't really like them or want to know them, but just in this situation they have to sort of work together for some sort of cause that's bigger than them. So but yeah, it's nearly 10 minutes. I've got to stop talking. But yeah, I don't mind being one of the few people saying this film's not bad. It's not good, but it's not bad. It's just sort of there. It's just like an action film, a sci-fi film, a game film. And I think the only other person who I saw being positive was Grace Randolph. She felt she was getting a real Joan Crawford sort of, quality actress sort of taking, sort of role like this seriously and giving it some sort of credit. Sort of, she was sort of watching it from that perspective. And I can see that with Kate. But, yeah. Didn't hate it. Wasn't as bad as they're saying. Don't know why everyone went after it so hard, but they did. But yeah, I'm going to go. Feel free to share, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think. I don't think I'd actually recommend watching it necessarily, but if it's on, if you got it on streaming, I wouldn't. Just why not? Yeah. I think the only disappointing thing about it was it wasn't so bad that you could enjoy how bad it was. That was what I was expecting, and it wasn't that sort of film where it's so bad that you can enjoy how bad it was. It was just sort of there. I'm going to go. Bye.